Many times when I'm talking to someone who is in mourning, I ask how their heart is, and the response is usually pretty simple. Often people say to me, "I'm just so sad." I rarely hear that people are angry or lost. Sometimes people tell me they are relieved because their loved one was suffering so much that their death was a release from pain. Sometimes that feeling comes with guilt, but for the most part, it is more like an exhale after a long period of holding their breath. But in truth, I mostly hear the simplest words that could be said. I'm just so sad. I started telling someone that I couldn't remember the last time I called in sad. I have called in sick. I have called in because one of my children is sick, but I don't think I've ever actually called in sad. I call myself a grief sponge. I try to soak up as much sadness from the families who are losing someone they love. Sometimes I can wring myself out by going for a walk or talking with a friend. But some days I'm just super saturated with sadness, and I'm not very good at anything when that happens. And of course, we have our own personal grief. For me, it's been 11 years since my daughter died, and not a minute goes by that I don't think about her. But still, I don't call in sad. I just keep going. I think most of us function this way after we love someone and they die. We allow ourselves a few days for Shiva, perhaps the entire time of Shloshim, and then we return to the busyness of our lives. For some, being busy is the only antidote to grief. It keeps our minds active, keeps us on the move, and doesn't leave any time to sit in grief, which is excruciating sometimes. The problem is, the grief doesn't go away just because we are once again going to the grocery store or work or dinner on a Saturday night. Grief has a way of waiting for us. It waits for the moments when we are vulnerable and tired and alone with our thoughts. Lots of people tell me they cry in their cars or in the shower. They cry when they're trying to fall asleep at night. It is those moments when they just want to get from here to there, when they just need to complete a simple task. It is then that grief creeps up. A friend of mine once told me that grief is like a ninja. It sneaks up and pounces when you're least ready. Sometimes grief catches up to us when we're feeling happy, when we are laughing and smiling. All of a sudden, we remember our father or husband, wife or mother, child or friend. We wonder, how could I be laughing? How could I be smiling when my heart is so broken? Then on top of the feelings of sadness and confusion, again, here comes the guilt. Should I even be happy or smiling? The answer is, of course, yes. Even in the midst of our deepest sorrow, we all need to reclaim our own happiness, and we all need to smile. Years ago, I gave a sermon about a similar topic. I used a story that I would like to share again with you tonight. I didn't write it, and it's specifically about the loss of a child, but I think it actually applies universally, and it goes like this. The best way I can describe grieving as the years go by is to say it is similar to carrying a stone in your pocket. When you walk, the stone brushes against your skin. You feel it. You always feel it. But depending on the way you stand or the way your body moves, the smooth edges might barely graze your body. Sometimes you lean the wrong way or you turn too quickly and a sharp edge pokes you. Your eyes water and you rub the wound. But you have to keep going because not everyone knows about your stone, and if they do, they don't realize it can still bring this much pain. There are days you are simply happy now. Smiling comes easy and you laugh without thinking. You slap your leg during your laughter and you feel your stone, and you aren't sure whether you should be laughing still. The stone still hurts. Once in a while, you just can't take your hand off that stone. You run it over your fingers and you roll it in your palm, and you are so preoccupied by its weight, you forget things like your car keys or your home address. You try to leave it alone, but you just can't. You want to take a nap, but it's been so many years since you've called in sad. You're not sure anyone would understand anymore, if they ever did. But most days you can take your hand in and out of your pocket, feel your stone, and even smile at its unwavering presence. You've accepted this stone as your own. crossing your hands over it, saying, "Mine." You rest more peacefully than you once did. You've learned to move forward the best you can. Some days you want to show the world what a beautiful memory you're holding. But most days you twirl it through your fingers, smile, and look to the sky. You squeeze your hands together and hope you are living in a way that honors the missing piece that you carry until your arms are full again. I love that piece. It speaks of deep hurt, but it also speaks of healing. We can't live life without the pain of loss, but we also can't survive the death of others without the gift of healing. As Passover leaves us, we must be reminded that we need not pass over our grief. We must pass through it. It doesn't mean we forget. It doesn't mean we leave anyone behind. It just means that we replace the sadness with joy when we remember them, that we let go of the guilt when we smile and laugh. I think it's still okay to call in sad once in a while, but only if we make sure to call in grateful the next day for having had that much love that we miss it so much. Grief is a balance, grief is a journey, but healing is a path. And we pray that that path leads us to a new wholeness and holiness. Now, take some time to think of your loved one, picture them in your mind, and also watch the pictures on the screen.